Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to a beautiful day here in Ottawa. It's absolutely gorgeous. Before I start the video, I'm gonna actually quickly show you around. I'm at the World Exchange Plaza right in Ottawa downtown. They have this new concourse built, and I'm sitting in that. So beautiful day all around. Right here in Ottawa downtown, you know, this is a part of Ottawa that very few people get to see ever, but nevertheless, it is one of the. It's not a very big downtown, but it's one of the most picturesque downtown, in my opinion, having been to a few different ones now. So, today's video, continuing with my theme on Canada and Ottawa. I am going to get down to my management video soon, but for the Canada Day festivities, I announced that I'm going to make a series of videos between Canada Day and the 15th of July talking about Canada and Ottawa. So today what I want to talk about is 5 reasons why Ottawa, my home city in Canada, is a great place to call your own home. So the first reason for me is the high quality of life. Ottawa consistently ranks among top cities in Canada for quality of life. I've been here for more than 2 decades, and the balance of work, leisure, and family life made it an extremely attractive place for me to settle down. The public services are quite efficient. Healthcare, everybody talks about the challenges that there are, but in terms of the infrastructure and facilities, we have quite a few. And the educational institutions, we have a really good set of institutions here. So all of them are top notch, contributing to a very high standard of living. So not only that, Ottawa is in a valley. We have lots of water around. Ottawa River, Rideau River. We have the Gatineau River not too far off. It actually flows into the Ottawa River right here by Ottawa, close to Rockcliffe. So lots of green spaces, lots of natural landscape. We have the Gatineau Park, which is highly picturesque within driving distance. So like I said, just the overall quality of life is quite high between the educational excellence, University of Ottawa, Carleton University, Algonquin, St. Paul. Now we have Lambton College here, La Cité, and we have the CEGEP on the other side of the river in Gatineau, the Greater Ottawa. I don't know if they like being called the Greater Ottawa, but to us it feels like an extension of our family here in Ottawa, and why not? So, between the educational excellence, the healthcare, and the green spaces and outdoor recreation, it's a great place. Skiing is within 30 minutes of Ottawa, within driving distance of Ottawa. Cottage country in Gatineau, lots of lakes. We are also very centrally located with regards to Montreal and Toronto. Montreal is about an hour and a half, Toronto is 4.5 hours, and one of the things that attracted me to Ottawa initially was we are within flying distance of some major US hubs too. Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Boston, they're all within a couple of hours of Ottawa. So it's very well connected. You could literally go, if you have a US visa or a American passport, even Canadian passport. Like on Canadian passport, you do not need a US visa. You can hop over to the United States on a flight in the morning, be around the whole day, and be back on a 90-minute flight or a 2-hour flight and be home and sleep in your own bed. So it's quite centrally situated. Lots of other small towns close by. Kingston is close by. Perth is close by. You will never run out of options, and if you are adventurous and want to experience life. So the first reason was the high quality of life. The second reason is the rich cultural scene. So a very vibrant cultural scene, which is enriched by the fact that Ottawa is Canada's capital. I like to say that it's a city where history and modernity blend seamlessly, which leads to a diverse array of cultural experiences. Well, lots of festivals, events, museums, stuff that can cater to the interest of all kind of age groups. So, it's the capital of Canada. There's a lot of national institutions here. National Gallery of Canada is here. Canadian Museum of History is here. Canadian War Museum here. National Arts Center is here. So these institutions offer residents and visitors a chance to explore Canada's rich heritage. And there's a lot of contemporary artistic, opportunities for you to enjoy and be a part of if you are in Ottawa. So again, with the festivals, there's the Canadian Tulip Festival, Ottawa International Jazz Festival, which I was at just a little while ago. And during the winter, there's Winterlude. We also have the longest skating rink in the form of a canal, which is quite unique and something that lots of people come to experience. So, it's a beautiful city to be in. And then finally, the culinary scene. As can be expected, there's more than 100 nationalities that call Ottawa their home. And with that, there comes a diversity of foods. So for any foodie who really wants to enjoy good food, this is a place where you can come and enjoy food, experience food, which has been cooked by people who came from those lands. So between ByWard Market, Little Italy, Chinatown, there's starting to be a really decent Indian scene across the city, but especially on Merivale. We are really enjoying it. There's lots of local farmer markets. Ottawa is quite big in its area, so there's a lot of rural space within the boundaries of Ottawa. So you get to see fresh, locally sourced produce available easily. So a lot of sustainable practices. And finally, when we look at it from a cultural point of view, the bilingual identity of Ottawa. So which adds to the cultural fabric in a big way. So the presence of both English and French speaking communities and the opportunities that opens up for bilingual media, for cultural events, for the culinary scene, and also for if your kids are going to school in Ottawa. And you can have that in the post-secondary environment too. You do have an opportunity of being able to take coursework all the way from school, high school, post-secondary institutions. You can choose to immerse yourself in one of the two official languages of Canada. So after high quality of life and the rich cultural scene, the third one that I would like to highlight from my perspective is the rich ecosystem of learning, entrepreneurship, and innovation opportunities. So it's one of the most well-educated cities in the world. I might be mistaken, but I know I'm very close. I think per capita it has one of the highest instances of masters and PhDs anywhere in the world. So lots of opportunities to engage in the entrepreneurial and the innovation ecosystem in Ottawa. There's some really big R&D labs, government funding labs that exist in Ottawa. So beyond the post-secondary institutions that I've already talked about, there's just a very strong ecosystem on the ground. The innovation transfer offices in all the post-secondary institutions are very active. The institutions are very well connected into the local tech development landscape. Organizations like Invest Ottawa, Ottawa Board of Trade, they offer a lot of mentorship and networking opportunities. And for those who do not know, Ottawa is also called the Silicon Valley North, which was on account of the many successful startups and established companies that are and were headquartered here. So a lot of people don't know that a whole lot of technology, especially telecom, specific that they would have seen in their own countries actually came from Ottawa. So lots of activity, lots of opportunities, lots of seasoned entrepreneurs, a lot of very successful ex-entrepreneurs and technologists that you have access to. I myself am a part of an organization called TIE, the Indus Entrepreneurs, which has a global footprint. The Ottawa chapter is extremely strong. I'm a charter member there, and we have monthly get-togethers, easily attended by 100 or so people, where we have local entrepreneurs coming and presenting their ideas, presenting their success. So it's a good ecosystem to be a part of. So, having talked about learning, entrepreneurial and innovation opportunities here, I'll go to the fourth point, which is economic stability and opportunities. Robust and diverse economy here in Ottawa with strong sectors in technology, education and government. This is the seat of power in Canada, so as you can imagine, the federal government has a strong presence here. There is some limited presence of the provincial government too. Ottawa is in Ontario, it is the national capital region, but geographically we are in the province of Ontario. So I would contend that the job market is quite stable. For those especially who are citizens and permanent residents, there's numerous opportunities in public service. The private sector growth is quite strong. Going back to public service, people would say that it's difficult to get a foothold, which is true. It can take some time because the processes are quite long and often require you to be bilingual. So while it may take time for somebody to get in, but once you've gotten a foothold in the public services, it's a very stable career. And I'll only contrast this to what I know to be the reality in India, where for you to become a senior bureaucrat, you have to go through an exam system called the Indian Administrative Services, Indian Foreign Services, Revenue Services. So there's an exam, which is I think a union, centrally administered UPSC, Public Services Commission exam. In Canada, there's nothing like that. You can actually join a particular department at the lowest of the levels in an early stage job, and then gradually grow on to become a deputy minister. And I know quite a few people who have actually, through their career, gone from one position to another to be in a very senior position by the time they're retired. So the economic stability is there. We already talked about the Silicon Valley North, which focused more or less on Canada, which is a western suburb. They're always hiring. I made a related video yesterday on what it takes to find a job here in Ottawa. And as I mentioned in that you just need to have clarity, you need to have the preparation, and you need to have the right expectation with the right plan. So if you have the clarity, the prep, and the plan, I think in Ottawa it is relatively not difficult. I wouldn't say simple, but I would at the same time say not difficult. It does take some effort, but it's not an impossibility. And then the final and the fifth point is safety and cleanliness. It's one of the most safe and clean cities for its size that you could ever find. Which adds to its high desirability, really low crime rate, well-maintained public spaces, and in a Canadian context, it is one of the lowest crime cities. In a North American context, especially when you compare it to cities in the United States, it would be a lot smaller. I think Ottawa still is at about 1 million people, just north of 1 million people, so it's not that big a city, even though it is the capital. But it's a pretty safe place to raise a family. You can walk around at night, as I've said in other videos before, and you can enjoy life and be out and about in the night without any major concerns to your personal safety. Public transportation is quite safe. You can be in a bus late in the night. Now you will have isolated instances of people having bad experiences, but that's to be expected in any urban city. So clean environment, strong emphasis on cleanliness and environmental sustainability, Public areas, parks, and streets are very well maintained by the Ottawa City team, and there are many initiatives in place to promote recycling, green energy, and sustainable living. So, and you see instances of that even in the high school and the post-secondary institutions, where students get a lot of opportunity as a part of their volunteer experience or their co-ops or their work placements to be a part of these things. And finally, there's a lot of civic engagement with people actively involved in community initiatives, community safety drives, cleanliness drives. Neighborhood watch programs are quite strong. Community cleanups and citywide sustainability projects foster a really strong sense of community here. The neighborhood I live in, we really look out for each other, and we try to be there for each other. And as I mentioned in a different video a couple of days ago, even now in the summer, as people are ramping up their gardening and the gardens are getting full, people are sharing their flowers, sharing their plants. So all of that comes together in making the city a wonderful city. Like I call it home. I've had no regrets of being here for almost 2 decades now.